are all these movements lead to the revolution happened in 2008. Not only the 6th April strike in 2008, but before it have a fair movement and the referendum which happened in 2005 and the presidential election which like a fake in Egypt, and the movement of judge for the independence of judge which happened in 2006, and all these movements leads to the strike in 2008, and also after 2008 we have about 3 or 4 other movements like the appearing of al-Baradei and his intention to be a president, and also the movement of Khalid Said, which making a lot of people going to participate in this movement because of human rights belief. And after that, the corruption happened in the elections, the parliament election 2010. So this movement lead to what happened in the revolution. For me, what happened in 6 April 2008, it's just a call from the workers to have a strike against the sharp raising of prices. I found this problem is not related only to the worker in Mahalla, but people suffer from this problem. I just use the Facebook's book and they try to campaigning people against this sharp raising and try to encourage people to participate in this just to give message to the government that there is some decision you take which are against our sex and we cannot accept it. And I think the 6th April movement, the 6th April strike in 2008 was very successful, not only because of the Facebook campaigning, but I think the Facebook campaigning was very important, and it is the first step for said they use it to work, and the people know what is Facebook from 2008. But the people also which are supported, who are supported in these groups, they create a lot of methods to reach people in the streets. They use writing on money, and they use using flyers and brochures all over Egypt. So that is the real strike in 2008 against the sharp raising. And I think it is very big step toward the revolution. I think what happened in 2008, it is very good test for people that the revolution will happen by people, by Egyptian people, against the stepping down of regime. Not only me who continue after 2008, but there is about 40 persons who were arrested in 2008, and all of us continue after 2008, and we insist on the revolution come from people and try to have other movement and other struggles against the regime until the stepping down of Mubarak. But I need also to mention the revolution of Tunisia was very important for Egyptians. They had the inspiration from Tunisians to have their own revolution, because when we were prepared for this revolution, we prepared for just like a big demonstration. We cannot say it is a revolution. But what happened is really a revolution, but we cannot expect it at this moment. That is in brief what happened from 2008 until the revolution in 2011.
Thank you very much. And so you describe a kind of continuity leading up to 2011, and you mentioned other techniques besides Facebook or the internet, such as writing on money to spread the word. I just want to ask you one other question, and then I'm going to turn to Ahmed. You said you take the inspiration from Tunisia. Did you take any inspiration from Iran 2009, from the Green Movement?
What's happened before, after what's happened in the Iran, it's just like what happened demonstration. We don't, what's happened in Iran didn't touch the Egyptian people as what happened in Tunisia. They connect with them. They have some sympathy on what's happened, and they have some support in the networks and in Facebook. But what's happened in Iran, this touch and it inspires the people as what happened in Tunisia. I think it's related to the same, somewhat the same circumstance and the same situation from Tunisia and Egypt. They are two Arab countries, and they are very near, and the situation somewhat is the same. It's not totally the same, but somewhat is near and the same. So I think the inspiration happened from the people who happened in Tunisia, not from Iran.
Fine, thank you. And I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to stay with us. I hope that you can. I want to get to Ahmed Salah. Okay.
I will stay for 10 minutes again.
Okay. Thank you, Ezra, and thank you so much for your courage. What you did in 2008 and beyond is been an inspiration. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ahmed Salah, I just wanted to get to this question of what was it about 2011 that made conditions different from the way things were before, such as 2008. We were just talking about the April 6th strike. What was different about conditions, in addition to, of course, what happened in Tunisia?
There were several elements here that were very important as factors in what happened, and I think it couldn't have been any more perfect because by 2011 we've already passed through all the different phases that had caused more and more defiance in people. People were very upset, were very angry about things, but also were very frustrated and were under a combination of both fear and loss of hope, total loss of hope. There is no use. But Tunisia happened. There was this call for a revolution on the 25th of January that I personally, when I first heard it, coming first from a friend who actually lives here in America, Colonel Omar Afifi, and I dismissed it like, what are you talking about? 3 weeks and to make a revolution, this is nonsense. And then there was immediately after the We Are All Khalid Said spreading this. And it went viral on the internet and like all over the place. Everybody's talking about a revolution in a couple of weeks.
Could you just explain Said for a second?
Yeah, it's Khalid Said was a normal guy, a young man, shy, very much into doing his own thing. But he managed to get a video that shows some police guys as they are sharing the result of a drug bust. Therefore, he was attacked when he was very close to his house by two policemen that entered to an internet cafe from both sides. They dragged him out, put him in an entrance of a building where they beat him up, and they smashed a marble step of the stairs by his skull, just to tell you about the intensity of the beating, in front of dozens of witnesses in the street, which resulted in his imminent death, of course. And then they tried to say that he was a drug addict and that he choked in a pack of marijuana, which is nonsense. So this had resulted a huge campaign against torture in the country, and it had resulted another wave of defiance, as I would say. Just back to this issue, so 2 weeks and we need to make something. We have to do something, and it was very difficult. People are meeting, okay, let's call for a protest in front of the Ministry of the Interior at 2 p.m. This is insane, what a failure. People are talking about a revolution and they want to make a protest that will be, of course, attacked and everybody either beaten up or arrested. Then an idea came that I met a friend the following day and we went out to some different neighborhoods asking people very simple questions, as if we were reporters, like, so did you hear about protests on the 25th? Everybody's talking about this on the internet. No, never heard about it. So there was a gap, between internet community and really the street. Okay, so what do you think about Mubarak and his rule? Most answers were very negative, full of bad words, but only some were very supportive of Mubarak because the people that answered them were completely poor and they didn't have any other choice or source of knowledge. So with those who had the negative answers, okay, so you tell me that you think terribly about Mubarak, and I'm telling you there is going to be this massive protest on the 25th. How about that? Are you going to take part? Of course not. Why? Because it's useless, it's futile, no use, they would remain in power forever. Or because you want me to go to jail, you want me to be tortured, you want me to get killed, maybe disabled, how about my family? Okay, so what will ever get you out? Then I had this answer. When I see everybody else out, I'm going out. When I see people out in the street, when it is the real big day, I'm out there and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So we had this dilemma, like, to get people out, you need to get people out. But then an idea came to me with the help of Omar Afifi again. And this idea, I told it to a few persons, and then I started to spread it in different places. And this idea was, how about if we create the illusion that people are out? You know, it's possible. Like, now we have this big crowd here, but if this, like, only a portion of this big crowd is put in a small room, they would think like there is, you know, come on, like it's really going to be a lot of people there. But, so the point was, simply, if groups of volunteers could start in small alleys, in very narrow alleyways, where there is high condensity of population, and they would just go up and down in a good hour, like maybe 11, 12 in the morning, at noon, to try to get more and more participants. And that if we do this all over in every city, so that we can try to make people come out, and then they try to move into the central point of every city, then we can achieve something. I had no idea at all that we are talking about a revolution. The only idea that I had in mind with my friends and my colleagues was, let's not make it a failure. Let's make it a good start, so this year there will be no possibility for another election that is rigged like the parliamentary elections in November, where the son is going to take the place of his father in the presidential seat. That was the whole point. And this is what we've been trying to do. But then the response was incredible. And you could see all these huge crowds of people coming from all these different neighborhoods, and they were all very enthusiastic, very brave, very disciplined, and they were all very bravely against that regime and this dictatorship, demanding freedom and democracy. And a revolution was there, a leaderless revolution, a revolution of people just seeking democracy, equality, justice, freedom.
Thank you. Muheb,
yeah.
You were part of a large youth network on Facebook that published the human rights violations of the Ben Ali regime. Why did the events in Tunisia occur when they did? We just heard from Ezra, who talked about how Tunisia had a big impact on Egypt. But what had the big impact on Tunisia? Why?
The big impact was in Tunisia because let's talk from the beginning, when Mohamed Bouazizi immolated himself in Sidi Bouzid. That guy, when he was pictured, and this picture was uploaded on Facebook, this has made big protests in Facebook pages. And Bouazizi also was famous in Sidi Bouzid, and all his family went, and all his family and his friends went to protest in Sidi Bouzid in the streets there. And our role in Facebook was to network and to make coalitions and to talk with other people in the other cities. So, for example, in my city, in Kairouan, it's in the center of Tunisia. I went out in the street protesting, and the police shot us with tear gas that was expired in 1995. So, so I took this picture.
So you didn't need any vinegar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I took a picture for this tear gas. I got it and uploaded it on Facebook, and people did not believe me. They said this is taken from Google Images. So I was obliged to take this picture near to a Tunisian meal. And I took this picture and I uploaded it again on Facebook. And people started believing me and started believing my page. And this picture was circulating all over the